Welcome back, and we got a great guest here today. We're connecting with the community on the events that are happening this week in Kenosha, and we have Adelene Greene from the Kenosha Coalition of Dismantling Racism. Adelene, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome, Jason.
The shooting of we have Jacob Blake
Jacob Blake.
that was shot in the back. What when you heard the news or saw the video, what was your thoughts and reactions?
I could not believe that this happened in Kenosha. After all the other events of police shooting unarmed Black men and women sometimes, you never think this is going to happen in your own community, but it did, and I am still reeling from the shock of this happening in our community.
Do you think we should still be having these conversations, or is it more now on action steps that we should be taking?
I think the conversations are important because people need to understand the impact and the wide-reaching range of racism. People don't understand that racism permeates almost every one of our institutions. And with that knowledge, then I think action steps need to be developed. So it can happen concurrently, but I think people need to be aware and have an understanding about racism, its long history in this country, and how it touches our community.
Let's talk about those community conversations that you've been having. They are well attended, and they got great guest speakers. Maybe you can expand on what type of speakers you have, and maybe any in the future that you might want to see.
Yes. We're as they say, we're pivoting right now because we're trying to figure out the virtual world because we can't meet in person at this point in time. In the past, we've had speakers talk about healthcare and the poor outcomes for Black people in terms of, their health, both their access and the quality of health that they receive. We've had people from the educational arena come and speak to us about what's happening with our African American kids as well as people of color. We've had the superintendent of KUSD as well as her leadership team come and speak with us. We've had people from the DA's office come and speak to us about the legal system. We've had even a movie that we showed. It was called Milwaukee 53206 to show the impact of incarceration, not only on the individual, but the families, the children and the families. And we've also talked about employment in our area and how African Americans and other people of color, they really don't have the level of employment as other people in our community. When you look at statistics in terms of the jobs and the unemployment rates, while it looks rosy for some sectors of our community, when you take a deeper dive, African Americans have higher unemployment rates, lower paying jobs, which contributes to so many other things, so many other disparities in the African American community. So we've tried to just shed some light on that for our community members so that they know that our story is a real story. African Americans are not having the same access to opportunities as other people in our community.
Seeing a lot on social media, it's topics been coming up about diversity in our local leaders. Do you think there should be a change in that?
I think there needs to be diversity from every aspect. When you look at the spectrum of leadership across our county, if you look at, who's on the county board, who is in the city council, who's on the KUSD leadership team, who are in the positions of influence and power, it's overwhelmingly majority white. You may have onesie twosies. And I think you need diverse perspectives as you're dealing with issues in the community because we're all impacted differently. We have different experiences and we have different things to contribute to the picture here in Kenosha that will make it better. And so I think it's important that you have diversity across the spectrum, not only at the lower paying level jobs, but at the powerful positions as well.
What advice would you give people in the Kenosha community that are coping with this tragedy right now?
I would say that, this is a moment, and this is a moment that we can overcome. It seems pretty chaotic, and bad at this point in time, but there's a saying that out of chaos you can find opportunity, and I think there's many opportunities for us to do better, to make this a better community for everyone, not just a few.
Are there any upcoming events or anything that the coalition is doing that we should be know about at this point?
We're working on a virtual forum, um, one that is pretty much set right now in October, has to do with voter suppression, because that happens frequently in minority communities. And so we want to encourage people to get out to vote, to register early, and to do everything that they can to make sure that their voice is heard at the ballot. So that event, I believe, is happening on October 26th, a virtual event. We are also in the process of just planning a conversation about the tragedies that have happened here in Kenosha. We have not firmed up the date, but hopefully that will happen in September prior to our October event, and it will be online. We do have a Facebook page for those of you who don't know. It's called the Coalition for Dismantling Racism. And any upcoming activities, you can go online and look at those upcoming events.